Audrey. And here's what this week's recipe is your host, Audrey Dukes.
Hi, welcome to In the Kitchen with Audrey. Thanks for joining me. Today on the show, we're going to be learning how to make homemade crepes. Now, this is one of my favorite recipes to make because it's very simple and it's something that a lot of people don't normally make. It's a little bit different. You can use it for special occasions and it's very versatile. There's just a lot of different things that you can do with crepes and you can have a lot of fun with them. So let's get started. So first of all, we're going to start off by making the basic crepe batter. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to crack 3 eggs into the bowl. 1. All right, now after I've done that, I'm going to measure out 1.5 cups of milk. It's about 1.5 cups. All right, so now I'm just going to pour my milk into the eggs, and then I'm going to whisk this together. Now you're going to want to whisk this carefully, not spilling too much. But you're going to want to whisk it pretty well to get all the eggs mixed up. It might take a little while because you want it to be frothy. I'm just going to keep whisking because I want all my eggs to be completely mixed in because it will mess up the batter if they're not. All right, now I'm going to add in my sugar. Now I'm using 1/2 cup of sugar to sweeten my crepes. You don't have to use that much. It really doesn't matter, but for the sake of today, that's how much I'm going to be using. All right, now I'm just going to add in a little salt. My recipe says 1/4 teaspoon of salt, but honestly, when I'm cooking, I don't really measure things, so I just like to have fun with it. All right, so now for our final ingredient, we are going to add in flour. Today, I'm just using regular white flour, but this recipe works great with whole wheat flour, with gluten-free flour. I made these the other day with gluten-free flour, and that's another reason why I love this recipe is because it works with almost all flour types. All right, so now that we have the flour in the batter, we're just going to continue to whisk it, and this part you're really going to have to whisk it pretty well because the flour is going to be lumpy. And you don't want any lumps in there because they aren't going to cook out. They're just going to stay in there. So just going to keep whisking until it's nice and frothy. You can get a good arm workout doing this. All right, so the next step is to actually cook the crepes. But since I don't have a stove with me in the studio today, I'm not going to be able to cook the crepes for you, but I'm just going to show you the basic process of how I go about cooking my crepes. So, first of all, you're going to take a medium-sized frying pan and some cooking spray. And you're going to get your pan and just, might want to shake it up a little bit first. Spray it real well. Make sure you get the edges. That's very important as well. And I am going to get 1/4 cup. You don't have to measure out 1/4 cup of batter, but that's pretty much a good amount, I find. Well, we're going to have to go to commercial break, but we'll be right back after a word from our sponsor. Stay tuned.
I'm so tired of eating pasta.
Me too. It's all I've been eating for 2 weeks.
I wish there was an easy, inexpensive way to make our food taste better.
Introducing Magic Pasta Dust, seasoning mix for all pasta. Simply add 1 dash of dust to your pasta to make it taste like a fresh home-cooked meal. Magic Pasta Dust is available in a wide variety of flavors from chicken fried steak to seafood. Add some magic to your pasta.
Hi, and welcome back to the show. If you're just now joining us today, we're learning how to make homemade crepes. Before the commercial break, I went ahead and mixed up my basic crepe batter, and now I'm going to show you how I go about cooking my crepes. Alright, so I've already prepared my pan with some cooking spray. Now if you're at home using a stove, once you put the cooking spray on the pan, you're going to want to put the pan on the stove and let it heat up for about 3 minutes. And then once it's nice and hot, you're just going to scoop out some batter and put it in there. And then you're going to kind of just tilt the pan around like this and just make sure that it's all covered. And once you've done that, you're going to let it cook for 1.5 minutes on this side. And then you're just going to take a metal spatula like this, and you're going to flip the pancake over and let it cook for 1.5 minutes on the other side. And then it should be all ready and nice and golden brown and beautiful and ready to serve. All right, so now the next step in making crepes is my favorite part, and I think it's the most fun. So, and this is how you fill the crepes and how you serve them. All right, so one of the reasons why I think this is so much fun is because there's no certain way that you have to do this. It's really just up to you. What I like to do, I like to make up a bunch of crepes like this, and then I like to have out all my toppings, and then everybody can just choose what they want. But today I'm just going to show y'all a couple ways that I like to make crepes. All right, so as you can see, I have a crepe here that I made up the other day, so y'all can see what it looks like. So first of all, this one's going to be more like a little breakfast or brunch type crepe. So I'm just going to crack some pecans on this one. You can do however many you want. Then I'm going to take some whipped cream, and I'm going to, if I can get that, just put a little whipped cream. You can put however much you want on there. And then I'm going to take some maple syrup, because this is more of a breakfast type crepe, and I'm just going to drizzle that on there like that. And now we're going to roll up our crepe. All right, so there's really no certain way that you have to do this. Just don't want to squash it. All right, so that's how you fill the crepe. And what I like to do, I kind of like to put a little bit of decoration or embellishment on my crepe, just to make it look a little bit more fancy and special. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my whipped cream again. I'm just going to add a little whipped cream right there in the middle. And then I'm going to add a few pecans. And then I'm going to put a lot bit more syrup on there, just like that. And there is the first crepe, and that's going to be our breakfast crepe. All right, so real quick here, I'm going to show y'all how to make more of a dessert type crepe. So this one's going to be very similar, but this time I'm going to start with the whipped cream, and I'm just going to spray some down the middle. Put a lot on there this time, because it's a dessert crepe. All right, and this time I'm just going to put some strawberries on there. Let's see if I can get these out. It's a little messy. You can put whatever kind of fruit you want on there. It really doesn't matter. I've done it with all kinds of fruits, and it turns out great. But today I'm going to be using strawberries. All right, so now we're going to take some chocolate syrup, and we are going to just drizzle this on here like this. This is a little easier to do than the maple syrup. All right, so I'm going to roll this up. Then I'm going to add my whipped cream to make this one fancy as well. I'm going to drizzle a little bit of chocolate syrup on here, just like that, so it looks nice and fancy. And there you have it. That's how you make crepes. Thanks so much for joining me, and I hope you tune in next time. See you next week.